All right, everyone. I'd like to settle in with this wonderful invocation to the light and divinity within each one of us. I'll sing it 3 times through. The first time you can just receive it. The second time, those of you who know it, we can do it line by line. The second time, so we can do it call and response. And the third time, we can all sing it together. So lift and lengthen through your spine and open your heart. Maybe turning your palms up in that gesture of opening, receiving. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. One line at a time. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave. Your turn. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Niralambaya Tejase. I bow to the goodness within myself, known as Lord Shiva, who is the true teacher. This essence inside takes the form of truth, consciousness, and bliss. Satchit Ananda, truth, consciousness, and bliss. It is always present and full of grace. Always present and full of peace. And this essence inside is completely free and sparkles with a divine luster. And those of you who wish to, join with me in singing it together. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. And together let's bring the palms to join in front of the heart and calling into that place that is Satchidananda, truth, consciousness, and bliss, that sparkles within each of us as that divine luster. Let's join our voices in the sound of Om. So I'm happy to be here with you this morning. I wasn't sure I was going to be. I actually, on and off throughout the day yesterday, thought about sending out a cancellation notice for today's class because I was just floored with whatever it was that I had yesterday. And I'm still not 100%. I still have a little bit of the headache and still not all my energy back. And I thought, there was that thought that came into my mind, well, if I can't show up 100%, to teach, then maybe I shouldn't, because as a teacher, I need to be 100%. And then I started questioning that thought. And I realized that I come here to the mat, as each of us do, to our mats every morning or whenever it is we practice, with the body that we have right now, with the body that we're living in today, which is not the same body that we had yesterday. And when I say body, I mean really the complex of body and mind, the emotions, the energy level, and whatever physical sense of well-being or not we bring, that we carry in our bodies at any given time. So every day we arrive at our mat in a different body. Not the body we had yesterday, not the body we had a year ago, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. Not the body that we wish we had, not the body that we're planning to have when we get in good shape, some, next month or next year. Not the body that our friend has that we admire. We come to the mat with this body just as it is today, which is ever-changing. I like to think of this body-mind as a verb, not as a noun. And that every day when we come to practice on our mat or sit on our cushion, we come with a constellation, and any day it's a different constellation of aches, pains, heaviness, freedom and joy and sensual pleasures, just the joy of being alive, or whatever restrictions we're feeling, whatever heaviness or lightness we're feeling, whatever emotional contraction is there, or whatever sense of lightness we have, whatever mental chatter is going on, or whatever sense of calm is there. And it's different every single day, just like the sunrise, if you look at the sky, is a little bit different every single day. So whatever is showing up in your body-mind today, all is welcome here. All is welcome. There are some days that I actually have trouble even doing some of the basic poses like tree pose. Can't keep my balance. And then of course the mind comes in and says, oh, you're a yoga teacher, you should be able to do this basic pose. And then I soften into it and remember that this is the body I'm in today, which is different than the body that I had yesterday and different than the body that will show up tomorrow or even a half an hour from now. So let your eyes close and let's just take a moment to settle into the body-mind constellation that is living in you right now, or that you are living in right now. And breathe with that. Let's just breathe with that together. So let your eyes close and find the posture that supports deep breath, open heart, softening the edges where you can soften, perhaps in the shoulders and neck, perhaps in the belly where there might be some chronic tension held, perhaps around the facial muscles in the eyes and the jaw. Maybe there's an unconscious furrowing of the brow that you can let go of. And let yourself be here with the magnificence of all of it. And just as the sunrise is unique, what's happening in you right now, in this body-mind, moving with this breath, is unique and beautiful and ever-changing. Just notice how the breath is naturally moving without trying to manipulate. Just notice what's here. The lineage that I was trained in, Kripalu Yoga, follows the teachings of a great yogi, Swami Kripalu, who said that the highest spiritual practice is self-observation without judgment. That is the essence of yoga right there. Self-observation without judgment. And once you notice what is naturally here, with the body, mind, and breath, you can begin to deepen your breath and pay attention to what shifts occur energetically, mentally, physically, as you consciously deepen your breath and create a little pause at the top of the breath. To just let that fullness light you up with prana. To slow down the exhale and take a pause at the bottom of the breath. And notice what's present in that emptiness. So enjoying that moment of fullness and emptiness. You can also layer on a little ujjayi, finding a little narrowing of the airway, which creates a little more calm for the nervous system and a little more focus for the mind. Just continuing to notice what's present, self-observation without judgment. And together, let's collectively set the intention to allow that quality of self-observation without judgment to inform the rest of our practice as we begin to come into movement and synchronizing movement and breath and attention. That's really the essence of it. Just observe what is, without judgment, without projecting ideas of how you want to be or ideas of how you were, but just honoring what's here right now. And let the eyes open with a soft gaze. And if you have a strap, I want to invite you to take a strap or any kind of tie or anything that you can use. For our opening movement practice, I want to begin with some stretching of the shoulders. So if you need to take a moment to go grab a strap, please do that. And refresh your posture, long spine, open heart. And take your strap and hold it so that it is a little bit wider than your shoulders, nice and taut. So on the next in-breath, lift the arms and bring the fists to press straight up to the sky. So you're reaching up with your fists, at the same time drawing the shoulders down. So your arms are nice and long, but you've got some space between your shoulders and your ears. You're lifting your ribs a little higher away from the pelvic bowl so the spine stays nice and long. And you're going to reach the knuckles back. Now you don't want your strap so wide that you can reach the arms all the way back and around. You want to be able to feel that edge. And in that edge, you're going to just breathe into that space where the heart is open. You feel that stretch in the front of the chest and the upper arms. Maybe some activity going on in the upper back. Big breath in and exhale. Keep the strap taut as you lower it down. Just feel all that heat and warmth in the arms. Oh, yeah. Inhale, reach forward and up. Reach the backs of those knuckles back behind you. See if you can get a little bit deeper back behind you, but still feel that resistance. Still feel that edge. Nice wide open chest. Drink in the next deep breath, and then exhale slowly. Let that strap come down, keeping it nice and taut. Soften your shoulders, lengthen up through the crown of the head. And again, reaching up, pressing back behind you, big breath. And release. Let your strap get a little bit longer, and this time you're going to bring your left arm straight up, your right arm straight out. So you make a 90-degree angle. And press up with that left fist, out with that right fist, long with the arms, but without contracting in the shoulders. And then reach back behind you. Feel that whole stretch through the armpit, especially there on the left side. Big inhale. Exhale, float it down. Other side, right arm presses up. I'm mirroring you here, right and left. Left arm presses out. First, draw those hands out in both directions, to the side and to the sky, and then open up, reaching the knuckles back behind you. Wonderful stretch through the front of the chest. Big inhale, and exhale, release. Release your strap for a second and just shake out the arms. And let the backs of the hands rest on the thighs, and just notice the energy and tingling and sensation of prana that you've invited into your arms, your chest, your upper back. And now we're going to take it into one more exploration here. I call this one break on through to the other side, like the Doors sang. So you're going to have that strap a little wider, and you want to find the length that gives you that sense of pushing through some resistance there. But then you can still open it out so you can go all the way around. Arms stay straight, and you can feel the taut strap come to your buttocks area, or maybe just above the buttocks. So then you can also bring it around front. So if the strap is too long and it's too easy, you're not going to really feel the stretch. So you want to find the length where you feel a little resistance and that sense of breaking on through some obstacle. Maybe bringing into your mind whatever that obstacle is within you that you need to break through. So everything we do on the mat can be a metaphor for something that we can bring into our lives. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. And one more. Open it up. Break on through. Feel how delicious that feels. And exhale, release. And put your strap down, shake out the arms. Feel that aliveness. Arms reach and rise, just some seated sun breaths here, reaching up through the right, reaching up through the left. Exhale, sweep wide and down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sweep down. Take it into a side bend, just the left arm rises. And seated side bend, both sitting bones rooting into the mat. Opening through the rib cage on the left side. As you exhale, you're going to take it into a twist to the left. Lengthening up, root to crown. And on the exhale, you deepen into your twist. Arms rise back to center. Palms come together. Bring them to the heart. Self-observation without judgment is the highest spiritual practice. Let the right arm rise and take it into a side bend, reaching your right fingertips toward the left and beyond your mat, keeping that right shoulder rolled open. Keeping both sitting bones anchored down. Reach long. Fanning the ribs open with your breath. And then exhaling into a twist to the right. Notice if the shoulders are scrunching up toward the ears and soften them, elongating from your tailbone to the top of your head. Exhaling, deepening into your twist. Let your gaze follow your heart. Head follows heart here. And then arms rise, palms come together, back to the heart. One more upper body exploration here. We'll take it into eagle arms. So arms reach to the sky. On the exhale, bring your right arm underneath your left. Elbows nestle into one another. And you want to take that left elbow and bring it a little bit past. Thumbs point towards you. If you can wrap your wrists, wonderful. If not, it's fine just to have the backs of the hands to one another, just so that your thumbs are pointing toward you, and lift high the fingers to the sky. You want to feel this in your upper back. Trapezius muscles, you want to feel it between the shoulder blades as well. Elbows try to rise a little higher than your shoulders. Big inhale, and exhale, unwind. Roll the shoulders one way, and then the other way. Arms reach and rise, big sweeping circle up. And now the other arm, left arm, comes underneath into your eagle arms. Lift fingers high. Find the place where you feel the juice. So it's not just about Simon says do this, Simon says do that. But find the place in you that lets you know that you're actually getting the benefit out of this stretch. And if there's ever a point where there's pain or real discomfort, then you can back off. So listen to your own inner wisdom as to how deep you should go in any stretch. And exhale, release. And again, roll the shoulders one way and the other way. And lengthening up through the crown of your head. We'll just do one more thing to open up through the neck. So as you lengthen up right through the top of the head, let the right ear fall to the right shoulder. And notice what lights up in the left side of the neck there. You can reach the left fingertips down and away at a diagonal. And you can either just stay here with each exhale, letting that right ear melt a little further down to the right shoulder. Or to deepen, you can wrap your right arm around your head and cup your ear lightly with your left ear with your right hand. Without pulling, you're just letting the weight of the arm give you a little bit more leverage for that stretch. 2 more deep breaths. Then slide that right hand to your right cheek and just help your head to come up to center, noticing the difference between the two sides. Once again, all the way through the spine, up through the crown of the head, lengthen, soften shoulders down, and take it on the other side, just letting the left ear release down to the left shoulder. The right arm reaches out and away at a diagonal. I like to imagine that any tension in the neck area there, and there's always plenty of it for me, is draining down the arms and out, down that extended arm and out the fingertips. And then if you found it useful to wrap your other arm around your head and just gently cup your right ear with your left hand, give it a little leverage without pulling. Breathe into any areas where there's tightness or restriction. Self-observation without judgment. Staying with long, slow, deep Ujjayi breaths. With every exhale, there's an opportunity to just let that ear melt down and soften a little bit more toward the shoulder on the left side. And then when you're ready, you can slowly bring your hand, left hand to your left cheek, help your head come up to center. Lengthen up through the crown, and then exhale, drop the chin to the chest, really to the notch at the base of the throat. Interlace your fingers and place them behind your head. The palms are going to rest right around the occipital ridge at the base of the skull. And rather than having the elbows pointing out to the side, just let the arms relax. So your wrists and upper arms are going to be framing your ears. And with each exhale, see if you can let the chin drop a little more deeply toward that top of the chest or base of the throat. And notice how deeply down the upper back you're feeling that stretch. With every exhale, just let that chin drop a little bit more. But you want to keep your shoulders stacked over your hips. You don't want to let the upper back round here. So the only place where there is flexion of the spine is in the neck. Use the breath as the releasing power here. Where there's tension, it can just dissolve out of you with the breath, with the out breath. And then unclasping your hands, bring them to your cheeks and just help the head come up. That helping with the hands just helps us prevent getting a muscle spasm after that deep stretch. And just notice any lightness, anything that's been freed up. Notice your whole torso, chest, arms, the whole upper body, neck and head. If there's any more aliveness there than when you started your practice. Just see if that's true for you. And then we've been sitting cross-legged for a long time, so let's stretch out the legs. Maybe remove your cushion and just shake out the legs. Give them a little pat down. Pat down the sides of the legs, the tops of the legs. Get to the inner part of the legs, thighs and calves. Maybe lifting your knees and just giving yourself a massage on the backs of the legs, because some of us may have had a little bit of pins and needles falling asleep from that, sitting cross-legged. And if that's happening for you, you may want to experiment with the height of your cushion or folded blanket that you're sitting on. That could make a difference in that. Point and flex the feet. Get some energy happening in the ankles, the calves, the bottoms of the feet. Circle outward. Circle inward. And come back to Dandasana for a moment. Staff pose, long spine, active legs, feet flexed. Centered on your sit bones. Just notice what's alive. And then swing the legs around behind you. Come into your table pose. And find some cat-cow explorations of the spine. Cat-cow. Let it be slow and deep, synchronizing your breath and your movement and your attention. And then bring the spine to neutral and slide the left leg back, press out through the heel. Down and forward into the hands. Feeling the stretch in the back of the leg. You might feel it really noticeable in your calf muscle, or maybe the bottom of your foot. And then back so that your arm bones are stacked. So you're going to bring your shoulders over your wrists and pivot on your right knee 90 degrees so that you have, you're coming into your half circle pose. So come up onto your right fingertips or fists so you have a little bit more room to press the hips forward. And you want to find the body in one long line. The outer edge of your left foot is parallel to the edge of your mat, rooting down into the floor. And grow nice and long from that outer edge of that foot through your fingertips. Notice if the shoulders are scrunching and draw them away from the ears, or that right shoulder, or left shoulder, excuse me. And find a little abdominal lift, navel draws in and up. Press the hips forward just a little bit and take some big circles. Let the arm, that left arm, lead the whole torso to rotate open to face the sky. So the heart, the gaze turns, the heart turns, the belly turns, the hip pointers turn to the sky. And the golden cord that's hanging down is there for you to grab onto and let it slowly draw you up to prepare for gate pose. Pivot the left foot so your toes point straight away toward the left. Right arm rises. Your foot can be flat or flexed. The knee points straight up. Hip pointers toward me. Reach up with your right hand and over. I'm not mirroring you here. So coming into your gate pose. Find your access to gate pose without folding at the hips. Keep the hip pointers drawing forward. Breathe some space between the ribs on the right side. And exhale back into your half circle. Grow long. This time just tippy toes press down on the left foot. Right fingers reach away. Grow an inch longer. And then fold. You're going to pivot on that right knee again, so you're coming back into that table pose with the extended left leg. Curl your toes under, and we'll take it into a half circle twist. So you're going to drop the left hip a little bit and stack the right shoulder on top of the left. Reach up with that right hand. Grow long from your back heel to your crown. And then take it into a bind if that feels like a good exploration for you. Back of the hand, the right hand to the left hip, and maybe sliding those fingers under so you try to reach your fingertips toward your navel. Roll the right shoulder open, look up at the sky. Exhale, release. And then bring that left leg that's reaching back behind you into a parallel line with your body. Firm your core, power up your belly with a navel lift, and reach out through your toes and then reach your right hand forward. Back of the neck is long, gaze is down. Table balance. Hip pointers, the hips are level with one another here. Big breath, and exhale, forearm to thigh, contract. As you're coming into a cat stretch, drawing the navel in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, contract. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, contract. One more time. Expanding long and contracting, squeezing out all the breath. And grow long here one more time. And you may want to take it into a bow kick, bending your left knee, reaching back with your right hand for your foot. Toes reach to the sky. Open the chest, roll the shoulders back, look up. Or both hands can come down and you can just press up through your toes if you need that for support. Big inhale. Try to get that knee higher than the hip. So you're going to really be stretching to the whole front of the torso here and the psoas muscle. And release. Come back to table, take it into a child's pose. And let this moment in child, a few deep breaths here, be an opportunity to reset. Notice what's alive in you. Self-observation without judgment is the highest form of spiritual practice. Rising back up into table pose, we're going to take that sequence on the other side. So you're going to slide your right foot back and just take a moment to press down and forward into the hands. Your fingers are spread wide. So we get that stretch in the back of the leg. Breathe into that and enjoy. And then bringing the shoulders over the wrists so the arm bones stack. We're going to pivot on the left knee. So you can open up into your half circle. Outer edge of your right foot parallel to the back of your mat. The short end of your mat. Come up on fingertips or fists. Grow long. Root down through that outer edge of your foot and your heel. Reach away with the fingertips. And then find those big sweeping circles to the sky with lots of breath. Maybe bringing an attitude of gratitude to your breath and movement for this magnificent day, just as it is. Find the golden cord hanging down and let it draw you up in slow motion so you really can feel your core activating to lift you up. Pivot on the extended leg, toes point straight out to the side. Hips, now you're going to be seeing it from the back end here, but your hips are going to be pointing straight in front of you to the long end of your mat, and take it into your gate pose. Couple of breaths here to expand through the side body on your left side. And then taking it back into your half circle. Grow long from tippy toes to fingertips. Big breath. And coming back into your table pose with that leg extended, we're going to take it into a twist. So the right palm presses down under the shoulder, the left hand rises. You're still pressing out through your right heel. Take it into half circle twist. Grow long and wide. Drop that right hip a little bit further down toward the mat. And then take it into your bind, if that served you well on the other side. Rolling the shoulder open, looking up at the sky. Lovely spinal twist. And when you're ready to release, we'll take it right into that table balance. So you're going to reach back with the right toes, forward with the left fingers, finding that long horizontal line through the whole back body, from toes to fingertips. Notice how the core has to activate to support you here. Big breath in. And take it into that expanding and contracting flow. Exhale, round the spine. Chin to chest, pull the navel in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, contract. Lengthen out as you breathe in. Breathe out and contract. Lengthen out one more time, and when you're ready, you can take it into your expression of that kick, either bow kick, opposite hand to foot, lifting knee high, rolling shoulders back, spreading the heart wide, or both hands down. Just engaging the glutes and the hamstring here, even if you're not getting a bow kick. So everyone gets benefit out of this practice. And when you're ready to release, find your way once again back into your child's pose. As a moment of gathering inward with breath and awareness. We're going to move it right into downward facing dog, so you can come up through your table pose, curl the toes under and press back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward dog, and take a few breaths to say hello to your dog today, with a little pedaling of the feet, a little pushing away into fingers and thumbs, a little melting down of the heart, tilting of the tailbone back, lifting sacrum, engaging core lift, navel in and up. Finding that pelvic tilt with the low belly tilts toward the thighs. Just explore all of those different movements in yourself. And if it feels good to come into a flow of coming into your plank pose and lengthening out and powering up here, body in one long line, and then pressing down and forward into the hands, landing on the exhale into downward dog. If that feels good, you can take that into your exploration. If you're needing something gentler, you can take a moment in child, maybe coming from table to downward dog, and then to child. It's another way to flow through a sequence with movement and breath. And then we're going to take it into the connecting vinyasa sequence. So next time you come into your plank pose, lower down knees, chest, chin on the exhale. Buttocks up in the air, hands underneath the shoulders, draw the elbows in, and draw the heart forward, just giving a little isometric pull of the hands back, shoulders back, elbows point back, legs power up, coming into a low cobra to start. And then from here, using the muscles in your back to keep that lift, see if you can release the hands, reach them back behind you into your snake pose. Keep the tops of the feet down here. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. And if you want to take it from here into a locust, you can peel the legs off them, but keep them strong and powerful and engaged. The tippy toes point back. Try to lift the legs all the way up so that the thighs are completely off. And it's just the belly and the pelvis that is connecting you with the earth. And the thighs and knees and the feet can come back down, hands under the shoulders. Just let the forehead come down. Lengthen the back of the neck, relax the low back, relax the whole back body here. And if it feels available to you, let's take cobra again, either baby cobra, just chest, or the whole torso lifts off with the pelvis rooted down, shoulders soft, heart open. Big inhale, whole beautiful front body stretch. Exhale, roll back down, forehead touches, and press up through plank or table, meeting in down dog. Find a long, slow, deep breath here. Deep inhale, exhale to land in your down dog, and we'll take it through that sequence again at your own pace.
your own expression of it. Inhaling plank. And you're going to find your way down to the mat, knees, chest, chin. Finding the expression of cobra that is joyful for you, and then meeting in down dog. And let the right leg sweep up back behind you. Three-legged dog. Big breath in. Exhale, step it through. This time into high lunge. We're going to keep it right into the high lunge. So take a few moments here to find some movement, lifting as if there's a string behind your upper back, lifting you to the sky, rounding the upper back, both legs straighten. Exhale, land in your lunge. Here's where blocks can be really useful, because you don't want to have your hands flat. That's going to make it too hard to lengthen through the upper back. So you can press into your blocks if you're using those, or use fingertips. Land in your lunge. Lift up, pull in with the navel, exhale. Lengthen a little bit more from your back heel through your crown. Soften your shoulders, roll them down the back body. One more time, lifting up. And exhale. And then from here, spin the back heel inward 45 degrees. So you're coming into a preparation for side angle. Going to bring your forearm to the thigh. And sweep the other hand down and away. So this is kind of a standing version of that half circle. Same length through the side body. Big breath in. And exhale, come into your warrior two. If your leg feels fatigued, that bent leg, you can straighten it for a moment. Gather your energy and then exhale, land back into it. Soften the shoulders nice and wide through the heart, drawing your outside edge of your knee on your right side toward the pinky toe. Turning the right palm up, take it into dancing warrior, also called peaceful warrior, or sky-gazing warrior, looking up at your upper palm. You can give it whatever name you want. Laughing warrior, just come up with a name you like. Exhale back into your warrior two. We're going to cartwheel the arms down. And from here, you're going to lift your back heel, and let's take it into a revolved side angle twist. Exhale, release, frame that front foot, step back to plank and flow through your vinyasa. Some of you may be ready for chaturanga, to upward facing dog. And meeting in down dog. Gather your energy inward by bringing your mind and your breathing and your movement together. Right now you're pausing in stillness, but there's actually quite a bit of bodily adjustment going on in the navel, in the pelvis, the backs of the legs, in the melting down of the heart. So there's subtle movements here, even in the apparent stillness. And lifting through with the left leg rising, pointing the toes to the place where the ceiling meets the wall, keeping the heart low. Big breath in, exhale, step it through, high lunge. And either on fingertips or using blocks, we'll take that slow pulse, lifting up like you're a puppet on a string. The golden cord right behind your heart. Exhale, the cord releases and lets you land deeply into your lunge. A few more of those at your own pace. Next time you land in your high lunge here, you're going to spin your right heel inward and root down through the outer edge of that foot. Bring the left forearm to the thigh and roll the hips open so that the top hip stacks, the right hip stacks on top of the left. Press down and firmly into your thigh with your forearm and grow long from your heel to your crown. And even longer through those fingertips as you sweep that arm, that right arm away, out and away at a diagonal. Check and make sure your body is in one long diagonal. If your stance is too short, then your hip is going to be sticking up. So you want that one long unbroken line. Grow nice and long. And then from here, you can wheel up into your warrior two if you need to take a break with that bent leg. Gather your energy by lifting up. And exhale, landing into warrior two once again. Hips open to the long end of your mat. Soften your shoulders, nice and wide through the heart center, the heart-lung meridian, from right middle finger to left middle finger. And then turning left palm up, take it into your dancing, sky-gazing, laughing, joyful warrior. You fill in the blank, what you want to call it. Big breath. Exhale back through warrior two. And cartwheel down. We'll take it into a revolved side angle. Just come onto the ball of your back foot. Long and wide like the shining sun. Exhale, release, frame that front foot. And step back to plank pose. Flow through your connecting vinyasa as you choose. And then from here, step or hop the feet between the hands, come into your forward bend. And just let the spine drape over the legs, let the head be loose. Knees soft as you need. And either hands can frame the feet or they can come behind your calves to give a little invitation to get a little more snug and close together, torso and thighs. Or you can grab opposite elbows and just let the torso hang. If there's any pain in the low back when you're doing this, then you want to support yourself a little bit more, perhaps bringing a block under your hands so you're not just hanging freely, but you have some support. And take a half lift here, sliding the hands up the shins to just below the knees. Flat back, pull shoulders back in the opposite direction of the front of your mat, so shoulders draw back toward the hips. Straighten the arms and press in with fingertips. So you get lots of length, feel the core power up. And exhale, release. Once again, come into that fold. And taking it into chair pose, drop the hips halfway and either bring the hands to prayer or lifting up to the sky or in between. You can do shoulder height, palms turned up. You want to let your weight come a little more into the heels so that your center of gravity is adjusted here. The highest form of spiritual practice is self-observation without judgment. Ujjayi breath. And arms reach and rise, coming into extended mountain, lifting to the sky through your fingertips, rooting down to the earth through your tailbone. Palms come together and return to your heart. All right, everyone. Okay. Let's play with some balance. I'd like to do a sequence. Now remember, anytime we do a sequence where I'm going to move this mat out of the way, actually, so you can see my whole body as we do this. Anytime that we're doing a sequence where we're putting balance poses together, you have the option of taking the challenge to not put your foot down in between, or to put your foot down and take the balance pose of samastiti, equal balance. You also have the option to go sideways and have a fingertip against the wall for support. So, or use a block. So you might want to have your blocks nearby so that you can grab them if you need them, because we're going to be coming into eagle pose. And one of the ways to support in eagle pose is to have a block on the outside. I'll come a little closer so you can see better. A block on the outside of your standing leg, and you can just bring the leg that wraps around, you can bring your foot there to support yourself rather than doing the freestanding, wrapping the leg. So have your blocks available if you need them. We're going to start with the most basic balance pose, which is samastiti. That is equal balance on both feet. We often take for granted what's involved. Actually, put this back behind you. I'm trying to find the best place to stand where you can see my whole body. We often take this for granted, thinking that this isn't a balance pose, but anyone who knows, if you know anyone who is physically challenged, perhaps using a wheelchair or a walker or a cane, we can come into deep gratitude for just being able to do this, to stand on our own 2 feet. And perhaps bringing to mind, as I said, every pose that we do is a metaphor for what we bring into our lives. So as you come into this posture of finding your own inner balance and taking a stand, perhaps take a moment just to close your eyes and bring to mind something that you stand for. What are you taking a stand for today? There's a lot going on in the world. What do you stand for today? Through your words, thoughts, and actions. And how do you vow to show up in the world as the embodiment of that? Standing for justice, for peace, for equality, for truth, for love. And with the eyes open now, with a soft gaze, find your drishti focus. So settle your gaze into a spot on the floor, a few feet in front of you, or the wall. And come into tree pose, lifting your left leg. So you're going to firm up the trunk of your tree by really activating your right leg. Pressing in this inner thigh or calf, if you're taking that version. Or even just the sapling with your toes on the ground. Let it be a nice, lovely hip opener. Bring your hands to your heart. The pubic bone wants to be forward enough that you can feel that lengthening in the low back, the tailbone roots straight down. And then find your own explorations of tree, branches to the sky. Just keep pushing firmly into the trunk of your tree, and that helps you stay with that hip opening practice. Maybe you want to take hands in behind the back and reverse namaskar. Or maybe you want to take it into a gomukhasana. So you can let your left hand and right hand meet behind you. Right elbow up, left elbow down. You can get that nice shoulder stretch now that our shoulders are all open from our beginning practice. And when you feel ready to come back to hands at the heart, in tree pose, we're going to release the leg and just let the knee come straight out. So you're going to take like a momentary time in crane. And you can either stay in crane here, or you can use crane as a transition to slide your left hand down your left shin and come into the dancer pose. Let the knee point straight down on the left side. The right fingers reach up, and thumb and first finger make a circle touch. Thumb and first finger touch, so you make Yan Mudra. And softening the standing leg. Now, a little micro bend in the knee, hips pointed straight ahead. I'll turn sideways so you can see. Dancer. And again, crane might be just a perfect practice for you, so this is optional. Once you get that lovely back bend and stretch to the front body, see if you can seamlessly come back into your crane, soften the standing leg, and here's where we're going to take it into eagle. So you're going to wrap your left leg around your right, get down into that squat, or use the block if you need to place your left foot. Left arm comes underneath, so I'm mirroring you here. Your left arm is going to come underneath. You're going to get down into that squat as deep as you did in chair pose. Reach elbows high, reach fingertips high. So now we get that internal rotation of the hip. One more breath. Open up into your crane and come in for a graceful soft landing. Samastiti, equal balance. Remembering, what are you taking a stand for today? Shake out the leg you were standing on, and we'll take that sequence on the other side. So if you need to move your block, you can do that. We'll start with the tree pose. Focusing your drishti. Rooting tailbone down. Get a little more lift of the ribs away from the pelvis. So you have lots of length in the spine. Opening that hip on the right side by pressing into the standing leg. Firm the trunk of your tree. And play with your variations here, opening your branches. There's a great Chinese proverb that says, sit under that green tree in your heart, and perhaps, no, it's keep a green tree in your heart, and perhaps a singing bird will come. And then a friend of mine wrote a song about it called Green Tree, which maybe someday I'll sing to you. Find any other explorations you explored in tree, reverse namaskar, or this time, left elbow up, right elbow down in Gomukhasana. And if you need to reset, like I just did, you can do that. My right side, it's my right leg that I'm standing on here, so I'm way more challenged on that side. Self-observation without judgment is the highest spiritual practice. When you're ready to release, to take it into crane, open your wings. If you need to touch your toes down to be the crane dipping its toe in the water, you can do that. And coming into dancer, remember that if doing dancer freestyle isn't available to you, you can face the wall and just place your hand against the wall so that you've got a little steadiness so that you can explore the deliciousness of that back bend as you lift your toes high. Kind of like what we did in the beginning of our practice with that bow kick. So I'll show you how it looks sideways here for those of you who are more visually oriented. And from dancer, we're going to come again through crane, just to steady yourself, and then into your eagle, wrapping right leg around left, right arm underneath left, fingers high, elbows high, deep into that squat. Breathe. Ujjayi breath. Finding your wings, finding your crane, and coming in for that landing. Back to Samastiti. Close your eyes and breathe and notice what's alive in you. And open your eyes when you're ready. And I invite you to come down onto your mat, onto your back. And we'll just do let's just do a little spinal rocking together. A little self-massage before we come into our respective inversion practices. So hugging the knees into the chest. You can bring your hands underneath your crooks of your knees, behind your thighs. And some of you will feel more comfortable just pulling the thighs in and letting them go to lift and lower the low back. If you want to take it deeper, you can tuck your chin to your chest and let yourself rock along the spine from your sitting bones to your shoulders. Don't forget to breathe here. And if you want to take it deeper, you can cross your ankles, grab opposite big toes, and let the feet come overhead behind you, coming up onto your sitting bones, spreading your heart. So you're taking it into a little bit of a cow tilt, and then rocking back almost into a plow. So find the depth of rocking that feels good for you. As we massage the spine. And then settle onto your back. Once again, hugging knees in, rock side to side. And then just settle into stillness for a moment. Just come into Shavasana just to feel all that energy that is invited in through spinal rocking. All that prana. Notice where you feel the prana. And then from here, I'm going to invite you to take your expression of any inversion you'd like, which could be legs up in the air, or bring a block underneath your sacrum for a little bit more of raised hips, so the hips get a little higher than the heart. Or you can come into your full expression of shoulder stand and plow. I'd like to begin to come into shoulder stand with a bent knee plow, which gives me the opportunity to tuck my elbows close in toward one another so they point straight back. And then bring the legs to the sky. I'm always a little bit more restricted when I have this headset on, so I can't go straight up. So it's fine, especially if you feel any pressure on the neck that's uncomfortable. Take a little bend in the hips so you're supporting yourself more on your upper arms and upper back and shoulders rather than the back of the neck. Take a few breaths here. If you're doing the plow pose as part of the sequence, you can either do straight legs, slowly lowering the toes down to the floor, curl them under, press back through the heels. Or you can take a bent knee plow, where your inside of your knees frame your ears, and just support yourself on your low back. It doesn't matter if your feet don't touch. If your feet do touch, then you can take the freedom to release the hands, clasp the fingers like we do in bridge, straightening the arms, maybe taking a little tuck of the shoulder blades toward the center of the back, powering up the legs by lifting the backs of the knees skyward and pressing the heels away. Try to lift the sit bones straight up to the sky and breathe. You can also explore one leg up. Here you want to have your hands framing your low back. So a combo of shoulder stand and plow. Take a couple of breaths with one leg up and the other leg up. And some of you might like to take that transition right into bridge pose. So you're going to let your knees go soft and let one leg, instead of having it go straight up, bend that knee and holding yourself to support yourself on your low back. See if you can let one tippy toe touch the mat and the other one follow. This may not be appropriate for everybody. And slide your hands away, lower your feet down, you're going to come into bridge. Others will want to access bridge just by rolling down, maybe taking that soft bent knee plow, rolling down, bringing the feet to the mat, and rolling up into your bridge. Hip pointers to the sky. Fingers can be clasped or palms down. Heart open, press the top of the chest toward the chin. Hip pointers to the sky. Knees stay over the ankles. 3 more deep breaths. When you're ready to release, unclasp your hands and roll down the spine from the shoulders through the middle back to the lower back. Let the sacrum rest on the mat. Slide the legs in front of you and take Shavasana for a moment just to feel the flow of prana that you've invited in. We're going to take it into the fish pose. Some of you may want to do a supported fish with a block underneath your upper back and maybe a block underneath the head. But today I'm going to coach you through the traditional fish. So do what is comfortable for you, what feels appropriate for you. So you're going to tuck the arms underneath the body. So first bring the feet together so your inner ankles are together. And then roll onto one side just slightly to tuck the arms underneath. And the other side, tuck the other arm underneath. And when I say the arm, I mean all the way from the upper arm through the elbows to the lower arm. So you're going to actually have your butt on the backs of your hands, or the butt might be resting on your wrist, palms down. And tuck the shoulder blades as close together as you can. And even just that will give you an opening in the heart. Wide open chest. And for some of you, it may be difficult to bring your elbows underneath if you have tight shoulders, but just do the best you can to get those arms underneath. And you can either stay here enjoying the open chest, or we can bring it into the full expansion of the chest and throat, pressing into the forearms, elbows and palms, imagining that golden cord tied around your heart, lifting it to the sky. Let the head go back and the forehead, the crown of the head touches the mat. It is not bearing the weight though. You're bearing the weight in your elbows and your forearms and your palms. So if you press into your lower arms, you should be able to lift and lower your head. And it's just a gentle touching of the crown of the head. You want to tilt the head back so the chin lifts high. Throat expands. Take a deep breath in. Exhale with a ha. And another deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, stick out the tongue. And one more. Once we reflect on what we stand for, we need to be able to speak our truth. So we clear out any blockages, energetic blockages to speaking our truth, speaking truth to power. Let that heart, that golden cord, lift the heart a little higher. And then pressing into the elbows to release the back of the head, bring the back of the head down to the mat, and take a moment in Shavasana just to feel the reverberation of that pose. From here, draw the right thigh in wind relieving pose. Hugging the right thigh in toward the ribs, extending left leg long. We're going to take it into supine pigeon for a moment and then a twist. So you can bend your left knee, draw the thigh in, and just turn your right knee out to the side so you come into your figure four. And threading the right hand between the space between your thighs, either clasp your hands behind your left thigh or around your left shin. Make sure that you're not pressing on your ankle, but that your ankle is past the left side of your left thigh. Press your elbow, right elbow into right thigh to get a little more rotation of that hip, a little more juice in it. Pull the left thigh in. Breathe into the sensation. Releasing on this side. For a moment back in Shavasana, notice the difference between your right hip, glutes, thigh, and your left. Hug left thigh in wind relieving pose. Snuggle it nice and close, thigh nice and close to the ribs. Soften the backs of the shoulders down into the mat. Extend through that right leg and flex your right foot and press out through your heel. And then turning your left knee out to the side, bring your right thigh up to meet just above your left ankle and come into your supine pigeon figure four pose here. Notice the difference between how the stretch feels on this side and how it felt on the other side. Give it a little leverage with your elbow inside your thigh. Keeping the backs of the shoulders and the back of the head soft into the mat. Releasing on this side slowly. Back into Shavasana. to notice, to feel the reverberation of that sequence. And before we come into a few moments of final resting Shavasana, I would like to invite you to come into any final twist or movement that would help you feel complete with your practice. So maybe a knee over straight leg twist, or maybe you want to come into happy baby as well. Maybe you want to take supine bound angle. Try to let it be a winding down practice rather than a fiery practice right now. So take a moment to check in and see what your body needs to feel complete. Maybe just some hip circles would feel good. Maybe a little just side to side abdominal twists would feel good, with knees in an L shape. Or if you want to juice up that twist, taking twisted root, letting your legs be in eagle legs. So just check in, listen, and respond. And if you are twisting on one side and you haven't done both sides yet, this would be a good time to switch. Begin to make your way into Shavasana for a few minutes of complete letting go, integration, and surrender. And here are some words from the yogi poet Dana Folds. It's called Love and the Great Silence. There is nothing fair or lovely about life, although sometimes it is both. Life is simply what it is, unapologetically bold in its approach. It can bowl me over with beauty or leave me flattened by grief, and it doesn't even blink at my reaction. If I curse the gods or fate, my life is bound by anger and regret. If I let the sadness dissolve me completely, love is all that's left. Love and the great silence underlying every breath. Let your breath begin to deepen. And find some small movements. Bringing some movements into the fingers, toes. Bring your mind and your body back into present time. May the long-time sun shine upon you. Oh, love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way home. Guide your way home. Begin to find some bigger movements now, perhaps hugging the knees into the chest or taking a nice long stretch. May the clear blue sky shine upon you. Flowers and trees surround you, and your loved ones gathered around you. Guide your way home. Guide your way home. And when you're ready, please roll over onto one side. Take a moment to pause there. And then slowly make your way to a seated position. May the light of God shine upon you. Peace and healing surround you, and the still small voice within you guide your way home. Guide your way home. May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way home. Guide your way home. Let's bring the hands together in prayer position. And we'll close our practice by joining our voices together in the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Thank you for joining me this morning in practice, this exploration of self-observation without judgment, just this practice of showing up just as we are. Namaste.